Alright guys, so in today's section we will be discussing the awesome program called tiled. And for our game, basically we don't have a level editor created ourselves, so we're going to be using something called tiled to create levels for our game. And engine has an extension that automatically supports any maps or levels that are created with tiled, and we can also create physics objects and do all type of cool stuff with tiled. So today I just want to give you guys the basics of how tiled work and some of the things you need to know when creating levels for your game using tiled. So tiled works in ways of tiles. So you will create a new scene. So let's just create a new scene really quickly. Go to File, New, and we could simply just do we can do the size of our game, which is 800. So we need to do, what is that, 25 by 15 maybe? Yep, 25 by 15 gives us an 800 by 4080 map or window, and it's exactly what we need. So let's hit OK, and as you see here we have like little squares we can click on, and we can't really do anything because we don't have any tiles to add. So let's go ahead and import some tiles. Inside the 2D side scroller folder, I provided a map or a tiled texture that you guys can use for our game, and it's basically located right there. It's called tile set, and right here you see as much little objects here we can do. So go ahead and click that. So you want to go to map, and then new tile set, and then browse, and then you want to go to tile set here and hit open. Alright, and just leave everything as is and hit OK. Alright, so now you don't see anything in this window, so you have to click tile sets here, this little tab there, tile sets, and there it is. There are all the tiles. As you see, it's broken up into 32 by 32 boxes here, so we can actually use each individual tile. So if you click one tile, as you see, you can like paste it anywhere, which is pretty cool, just like that. So that's the pretty much awesome thing about tile. We can actually lay out our maps using tiles. So let's go ahead and create a ground for our game, and well, first let's create a sky. Now, a few things you need to know is that whenever you create a new layer, so if we did a add tile layer here and we named it sky, every square or every object or tile here needs to be filled with a texture. You cannot leave it blank. So you can't just do this like this. You can't just do this and then leave everything else blank. Everything has to be filled in with a tile, because if it's blank, you'll get an error when trying to load the tile into the game. So a workaround you can do is on this texture or this tile I provided, you have some blank or transparent pixels. So as you see here, if you click here, you see like the boxes highlight. That means they're transparent. They're see-through. So if we click this and we go to the paint tool here, the paint bucket tool, we can actually just do this, and as you see, it fills in all the tiles with that blank transparent layer, and you can just do that, and so now it's filled, which is pretty smart. So that's the way to work around it. So just make sure anytime you're creating levels, make sure that you fill in every tile of every layer. Okay, so let's undo all that we just did, and let's import our map again, our tile set. If you still have yours, then cool. Actually erased my back accident. Tile set, open. Okay, so let's create a level. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and get a ground object. So let's just highlight. Actually, no, let's do the sky first. So let's do a new layer, new tile layer, and let's call it sky. And if you see here, you can click this little blue object and we can make a sky. And so you just click the paint bucket tool and click there, and you see that it pastes all the tiles there. So the next layer we're going to have is the ground. So just call this layer ground. And so all the sky's filled up. So every tile is filled in the sky, so we don't have to worry about any errors. So let's make the ground. So let's go to here, and let's just highlight both of these and go to the stamp tool here and click that. And now we can just pretty much drag this along here We'll just drag it along. And as you see here, whoops, messed up. It's got to go straight across like that. All right, and as you see there, we have a ground, which is pretty awesome. And we can also add some little clouds too. We can just highlight both of these, and we can like stamp some little clouds too, which should be pretty awesome. So you can just do like this, stamp some, actually like that. Whoop. We need to add a transparent layer. So remember I told you about the transparent layer, so we need to do that now to the ground layer. So go to the paint bucket tool here, paint bucket, and click a little transparent tile right there, and then we just simply do bam, and we need to fill in all of this too. So yeah, let's hit the stamp, hit there, and then make sure everything's filled up. So just kind of move your mouse around, and if you see any like highlighted little squares like right there, make sure you fill it in, so we can just move around a little bit more. All right, I think that's all of them. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and add some clouds. So let's go to this and hit sky layer. Make sure you click the sky layer and click the stamp tool. Let's put some, well actually, you know what, let's put this on the ground layer. So hit ground and just stamp it, and bam. Move this ground layer up like that, and undo all that, and let's move the ground layer above the sky. So move it above it, and as you see there, I actually undo those. So move the sky layer up, or move the ground layer above the sky, and let's paste up some clouds. Pretty awesome, isn't it? So now we have some awesome clouds going on, and I think we probably could do some other stuff too, like we could add some of these in, but we'll do this later. For now, I just want to load up a basic scene. And what we want to do is we need to make this a little bit longer, because since our game's a runner game, we need to make this whole entire layer, we need to make it longer. So let's go ahead and start a new layer. So let's just do, and actually, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and start a new layer. So let's X out of this and discard it, and let's go to file, new, and we can leave the height the same, but we need to change the width. So the width here, let's change this to we could do like 3000. Actually, that's too low. Actually, yeah, we could do 3000 to make it really long, or 300 to make it really long. And yeah, it'd make it pretty long. As you see here, is really long. Since our game's a runner game, we need to make the X, or the horizontal direction, long like that. So let's go ahead and do our sky layer like we always do, sky, and let's import our tile set, new tile set, browse, and let's go to tile set, and okay. So let's go to the sky, click the little blue pixel, and go to the paint bucket tool and paste it. And as you see, all of our skies filled in. So let's make a new layer, and let's call it ground. And the first thing we do is go ahead and click that little empty tile there. Click the empty tile anywhere, empty tile, and we need to fill in all of those. So just make sure the paint bucket tool is selected, click there, and then paste it. Bang. All right, so let's start creating our ground now. Let's highlight these two ground textures right here, and go to the stamp tool, and let's start pasting it. So you just go straight across like this, all the way across. And once you get to the end, just hit the right arrow key on your keyboard, and you can just automatically leave your mouse there and move the bottom scroll like this, and we can just paste it straight across. All right, so there it is. There's our awesome ground, and let's add some clouds too. So just highlight these clouds and just load these, so we can add them all through here. It's like that. Actually, I messed up. So yeah, just paste some little clouds all throughout your game like this. Okay, so that's it for the ground. Now what we want to do is we can go ahead and add in a little cloud like this, so our player can jump on it. So we can add like a cloud there, and we can add another one like right there, and he can like jump all the way up here, which is pretty cool. And we can add some going down like this, so you can jump down. And we can also add like some little cool little obstacles too. So we can add like a little spike right here. So let's add that like right there. Add some cool little spikes. And we can add a little ground too. So we can add this little object here, and the player has to like jump over it. So we can do like that. And he has to, well, let's move it over some. So right here, we do like this, so he has to like jump over both of these, which is pretty cool. All right, I think that's all we can do other stuff too, but for now this is pretty much good enough. So the second thing to do is if we want to create some like the objects for our physics layer, we need to create a new object layer. So we need to go to new and then new object layer, and you don't have to name it anything, you can leave it like that. And just hit the little square button here, the insert rectangle right there, and you want to just start drawing a circle, a square from here all the way over, and hit the arrow key, the right arrow key, and slide the camera over like this and just drag it till we get to the end, and bingo. And so go to the objects layer here, and you'll see like a little blank line here, and you want to name this ground, because this is our ground and it's going to be like a solid object. So just name that ground, and that will tell our physics layer what ground is. And so let's create another one over the cloud like this, and we'll also name this ground too. We can name that ground, since it will be as like a ground object, and we can do ground here too, and ground, and another ground. So all the clouds should be ground. Ground. All right, so now we need to do these little spikes. So we can just make like a little box. Don't make it too big, make it little like this, little box like that, and just call it spike like that. And then make another little box around this one, and just call it spike too. And another one here, make it small, and spike. So this way, when our player jumps on this, if he like just kind of like scrapes over it, it won't really hit him. But if he like lands on it, then he'll die, of course. And one more here, you can call it spike. And we need to make some more ground objects for these little bad boys here, these little suckers. So just call that ground like this, and ground, and ground. Oops, another ground here, and another ground here. Okay, so it looks like that's it. Everything else, I mean, we can always come back and add stuff later on, but for now we can just leave this blank. And you want to draw one more little rectangle here. Just draw like a straight little line here, like a little small rectangle like that, and just call this finish line. So when the player reaches this part here, then he's finished. So just call it finish line. So if he collides with that, then it means the game's over, or he finished the level. And on top of our clouds, we can add some little coins. So go to the tile set and click on the coins right here. Just highlight that whole texture, and yeah, highlight it, and then go back to your ground layer and just paste it like that, like that, like that. And as you see, like the clouds are starting to kind of like overlap with the textures. So what happened is since that's like since this tile here has a transparency to it, then it's kind of like overwriting the cloud. So we can just simply cover those up just so they won't look as bad. Just cover those up with a transparent tile like that. Just cover them up. And the coin objects, actually, we don't need to add those, so we can just take those out, because what we need to do is we need to create bodies for the coins, not actually tiles, because we can't really remove tiles, so we need to just create some bodies. And in our code, we can actually detect when a body's there, and then we can add a coin based off of that. So let's go back to our objects layer here, click objects layer, go back to your object tab and click on the circle. Actually, no, just do rectangle again, rectangle, and create something, a little small square there, and just call it coin. And then create another one, and let's call that coin too, call it coin. And one more, or two more actually, and call that coin. Another one, call that coin, and another one, call that coin. And then we can add like some little ones around here too. So like right up in here, we can add another coin right there, so the player can collect some coin. And we can add another one here, make it kind of cool, and call that coin. All right, so that's it for our tile layer. That's all we need right now. So let's go ahead and save it. So you want to do file, save as, and when you save it, just call it level 1. All right, level 1, and it should say tmx.tmx file there. So then just click there, or save it as level 1, and then hit save. And yes, so just hit save, and now it's saved to the tmx file. All right, guys, so that's it for this this section right here. In our next lecture, we'll be discussing loading this into the game, creating our game scene, loading this whole texture in so you guys can see it, and we'll be going from there. So I'll see you guys in the next section.